one guaranteed thing that's coming is a new Wonder Woman movie, as we teased earlier, coming off the back of the supposed success of Wonder Woman 1984. I say supposed just because we haven't fully seen the stats on HBO Max yet to see what the subscriber numbers were, this, that, or the other thing, box office, like to truly gauge how the box office did with this movie. But this is not surprising that we're getting another Wonder Woman with Patty Jenkins out and Gal Gadot reportedly reprising their positions. I said before, I still have faith in Patty Jenkins here. I think maybe she just had a bad day at the office. Maybe, as you said, she just had a bad script to work with. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm optimistic. But please, 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 can we just set this one in present day? Like, it bothered me a whole lot in both Wonder Woman movies. They're just like, they rely so heavily on the Steve Trevor thing. And it's, again, present in 1984, but I'm still going, the only reason you brought him back in 1984 is because you wrote yourselves into a corner by saying Steve Trevor existed in the World War I era, as opposed to, just making the movie in the modern day. That way, they can live happily ever after as a couple together, because Steve's supposed to exist in the same modern day that we do, but whatever. Yeah, I don't think this is a bad idea. This makes sense. What's interesting to me is Warner Brothers, when they made this announcement, was like, we're fast tracking this project. And I'm going, you can say that, but Patty Jenkins is busy with something else. You're not moving fast on just about anything, unless Patty Jenkins has said that she and Jeff Johns had an idea for a third movie and a Themyscira spin-off show. So maybe they already have the story done. But again, you're going to be waiting till she's done with Rogue Squadron before you do anything with Wonder Woman. So how fast can you fast track this?
Yeah, that's a very legitimate question. That was probably the biggest um, you know thing that I latched onto in this announcement was the fast tracking, because like what exactly does that mean, considering knowing her schedule and the fact that nothing is still guaranteed production wise. It's not like everything that we've been dealing with 2020 is just magically going to disappear here once the clocks roll over into 2021. So logistical issues and like those will still be there. So fast tracking, I'm really curious to see what they mean by that as well. I'm just unsure of the timeline, but in this case, we've seen it in the video game industry. Cough, cough, Cyberpunk's launch, and the fact that some people still want to fast track. Some people still want to fast track productions on stuff. So I'm hoping that they just take their time. As impatient as we can be as fans and as consumers, if we're honest, we would rather have a better product. And so, considering what our other stories are going to be, we're going to touch on here soon, I would rather them pump the brakes, evaluate things in the feedback that they got in this film, and go from there. I don't want them fast tracking it. In fact, that's the exact opposite of what I want coming out of Warner Brothers at the moment. So that's, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Unfortunately, it's all speculation. But as far as the Wonder Woman 3, it makes sense. It's going to be profitable. It was going to be profitable anyway. So the studio ordering another film, it makes sense because it's ultimately it's going to make money. So sure.
This doesn't surprise me at all that they're fast tracking another one. I think it's mainly because Wonder Woman, the first one did extremely well, and you're right. I think no matter what the critical reception is for this one in any other year would have done well. Which, quick aside note, I was listening to the Avengers Endgame soundtrack a few days ago with Heather in the car, and I was just like, can you imagine if Endgame came out just 1 year later? Like, how drastically different the landscape would have been? Like, that would not be the number one movie of all time. It probably would have been delayed, and people would have gone insane knowing that they would have to wait forever to see Endgame. But I think the reason why they fast-tracked Wonder Woman 3 is Wonder Woman right now is their bread and butter. It is their top franchise for DC, because they're dragging their feet with Superman. They don't know what they're doing. Batman, they're banking heavily on the Matt Reeves Batman, and I think it's going to be awesome. But there's still some general confusion among casual movie fans. Ben Affleck versus Robert Pattinson, which one is the Batman? Then there's talk of Michael Keaton coming back for The Flash. The Flash movie is nowhere to be seen. Aquaman did well, but there's only one of them. Wonder Woman, there's been two, at least on paper, seemingly successful movies. So right now, Wonder Woman is probably DC's top priority, and rightly so. That to me is why they probably are going with the third one. It just makes logical sense. It's their safe bet right now, with DC not necessarily having the most safe bets. There's a lot of exciting things on the horizon, I think, and we'll talk about that for our next story. They have a couple good, if we're talking sports here, they got a couple really promising prospects, but right now Wonder Woman is your perennial all-star. Shazam, the first Shazam was great. I still think that's a up-and-coming act, because the first one did okay, but it doesn't have a sequel yet, and we're kind of just biding our time until we get that Shazam Black Adam square off. Aquaman, huge success. There's only been one movie so far, and with the whole Amber Heard situation, it's a little iffy. Wonder Woman is their steady hand right now until they figure out what they're doing with the Batman, what they figure out what they're doing with Superman, if anything. So this just makes the most sense to me why Wonder Woman 3 got announced. So, is there anything in particular that you would like to see for a Wonder Woman 3, Michael?
Well, it's a difficult question. It is a valid one, but I really don't know how to answer it because I haven't seen 1984 yet. But if there's something that I'd be interested in the character, what I want from Wonder Woman is her to truly come into her own as a character and not have to deal with anything in the past, but something going forward. Like, be bigger than trying to make it or trying to prove yourself, or also get over your past. Finally, be yourself. Be comfortable in the world in which you're in. Own your role as a superhero. And for me, as an audience member, the one thing that I would like to see from Wonder Woman is her, have not just it goes beyond self-confidence, but it's the idea that you're not something else. You are your own person. You are just as worthy as any other superhero.
You are
Hero
who you choose
is
to
out
be.
there, and as far as a conflict that I'd be interested in is seeing her, and like in a resolve is somebody who is adamantly opposed to superheroes, is maybe out for blood because they believe that once Superman started this domino effect, all the rest of these superheroes would come out of hiding, and they are not doing good things for us. And so I want her to be presented with not just a doomsday scenario of, oh, okay, hey, look at the whole world's threatened, but like a more personal, like moral, like
So like
storyline. And
so like Winter Soldier, basically.
yes, I'd rather see something like that, particularly with Wonder Woman, because it gives an opportunity to go a little bit more in depth with the character, and it would ask more of Gal and her acting prowess to kind of give us a more emotional performance, like you do see Chris Evans. Like the Chris Evans that you see in Winter Soldier is very different than in the rest of the films, and I absolutely love that about that particular film. Like Cap's character development and just overall psyche is challenged more so in that film, and it's not the biggest doomsday plot, even though the villains are trying to do certainly has a wide reach, and could have catastrophic damages, but it's something a little more personal and close to home, and that is what I'm more interested in, because how many times can you do the whole world is being threatened and a big bad guy who's really big and bad because he's bad and
Skybeam.
big?
Skybeam, a
Yeah,
great villain.
yeah, and so I'm getting really tired of that, and that's where I hope that they go.
I've seen this idea floated around, and I think it'd be at least a fun idea to at least throw around the board and as a creative idea. In the modern day, Wonder Woman teaming up with Superman, but big caveat: do not, and I repeat, do not make them romantic interests for each other. There's one of the biggest power couples that I hated in all of comic book history was when Superman and Wonder Woman hooked up. It doesn't work. Superman needs to be with Lois Lane. I think that could be a lot of fun. And maybe, it's not maybe, it 100% is just me going, please, sir, can I have anything Henry Cavill related at all? You can have him just wear the Superman thing and just stand there in front of a screen for 2 hours and just wave at me like a moron, and I'd just go, thank you. I'll take it. It's better than nothing. So I think a Wonder Woman Superman team up could be a lot of fun. Two people with godlike powers, maybe fighting Brainiac. But again, I'm still kind of hoping for Brainiac in a Superman 2 or Man of Steel 2 type of situation. So that's kind of what I would hope.